Life comes at us fast. Thoughts and ideas, hopes and worries, it is all too easy to get caught up in the whirlwind. But deep within, we do have the capacity to achieve an inner peace that does not depend on the outside world or on anyone else. I'm Dr. Michael Mosley, and this is Deep Calm. This immersive BBC Radio 4 podcast series has been designed to help you tap into a hidden system within each one of us, your relaxation response. In each program, I'll guide you through a different scientifically proven way to activate this system and open the door to that calmer place within, a world of restoration and stillness, a world of calm. So get as comfortable as you can, and we'll begin. You may have noticed that when you're feeling tense, getting out into the natural world can really help. Whether it's a garden, by a river, or the countryside, being in nature has the power to soothe, invigorate, and inspire. And it's not just psychological. New research is shedding light on the powerful physiological reactions your body has to the sights, sounds, and sensations of being in nature, and how they stimulate your relaxation response. Exactly how this happens is still under debate, but one suggestion we're going to explore is that it's related to the recurring sensory patterns you find in nature. First, before we get into the science, let's relax, unwind, and leave behind the cares of the day. Take a long, deep breath. In and out. If you can access and get to somewhere green, head there and take it in. If not, picture yourself in one of your favorite natural beauty spots. Maybe you're near a stream, or in the woods, or sitting in a garden. Notice and savor textures of the leaves on the trees as they move in the breeze. The myriad colors, shades of green, brown, red. Their patterns and dynamic, gentle swaying. Although simply imagining being out amongst the sights and sounds of nature can be beneficial, as we discussed in the guided imagery episode available on BBC Sounds, actually going out can really amplify the effects. Studies have shown that 15 minutes of walking, or just being in a forest, can lower blood pressure, heart rate, and levels of the stress hormone cortisol, leaving you feeling calmer and more refreshed. Other studies have shown that longer periods, an hour or two at a time, can reduce adrenaline and activity in the amygdala, a region of the brain that's involved with tension and fear. It can even boost the immune system by increasing natural killer cell activity, as well as raising levels of some anti-cancer proteins called porphyrins. And if you can't get to a forest, a recent study found that a few minutes spent touching real grass, as opposed to artificial grass, was enough to lower blood pressure and increase alpha wave activity, indicating a greater relaxation response. Similar changes have come from a few minutes of looking at some flowers or even an image of a forest. So what's going on? In these last few studies, the researchers found that the sight or feel of the natural world stimulated a set of nerves that work together as part of your parasympathetic nervous system. This activates your body's relaxation response, slowing your heart rate, lowering your blood pressure, and via the release of calming neurotransmitters in the brain, lifting your mood. But what is it about the natural world that triggers this cascade of responses? Professor Richard Taylor from the University of Oregon has been investigating one particular theory, that it's something to do with the repeating patterns you find in nature, fractals.
A fractal pattern is simply a pattern that repeats at different magnifications. Another more sort of common term for it is the fingerprint of nature. To give you an example, let's concentrate on a tree. If you look at a tree, you have this big trunk and then you have these large branches, and that creates a particular type of pattern. But if you then zoom in on one of those large branches, you'll see smaller branches spreading out from that large branch, and that creates exactly the same pattern as you saw on the larger scale. You zoom in on those smaller branches and you see smaller and smaller and smaller patterns. Clouds are fractal, rivers are fractal, the coastline is fractal. If you're out there at night and look up at the stars in the sky, they have a fractal pattern to them. Lightning is fractal. Your bronchial tree in your lungs is fractal. Blood vessels are fractal. The neurons, your body wiring, is actually fractal as well. Many sounds are also fractal. So, when nature chooses to speak, it speaks in a fractal language. The sound of water coming over a waterfall is fractal. When birds sing, they often sing a fractal tune. Basically, every sense that we've got when we immerse ourselves in nature is actually getting bombarded by these fractals.
Richard was inspired by a study where patients who'd had major surgery recovered more quickly and needed less pain medication when their hospital room overlooked a natural scene.
All that you do is you have to look at nature, and it gives you this stress reduction for free. The whole of your physiology changes. We've developed new techniques to quantify those effects. We find that if you stare at these specific types of patterns that are very prevalent in nature, it can reduce your stress levels by up to 60%. And that is a profound amount for a non-pharmaceutical approach to stress reduction.
Over millennia, we've evolved the ability to process vast amounts of visual and other information. But with fractals, we are, in a sense, hardwired to process them more easily than anything else. It's a bit like a visual comfort zone.
We've gradually put together this picture of our whole visual system being thirsty, needing to look at fractal patterns. And when we give that visual system what it wants, that triggers this immense stress reduction. You may not even realize that trees and clouds and rivers have these actual geometric structures, but we see these very distinct responses in the brain. And then soon after that, within a minute, that's when our body starts to relax.
There's still a lot we don't understand, but Richard and colleagues have certainly shown that fractals have a significant, measurable effect on our relaxation response.
The beautiful thing that we're finding is that you don't need much exposure.
So, how can you make the most of all this? Studies suggest stepping out into nature for as little as 15 minutes a day can be beneficial and have a lasting effect. It's also about trying to be more present, really paying attention to your senses, looking up at the canopy, smelling the flowers, listening to the bird song. And simple things like putting plants and flowers in your room or looking at photos or posters of natural scenes can all work to help activate your relaxation response too. Researchers are also looking at ways to put fractals into murals, screensavers, and even composing fractal music. To explore more about how it all works, let's take a deep dive into the body and the patterns of nature. Breathe in and out. As your breathing slows, feel your muscles start to relax. Picture yourself in a forest. Listen to the distant sound of a waterfall. Feel yourself drawn into the sound. As you look around, you see the leaves on a nearby tree. As your field of vision slowly zooms in, notice all the shades of different colors and the patterns of the leaves, the movement and branching forms of the trees around you. In the vagus nerve, the main nerve in your parasympathetic nervous system, signals are intensifying. Think of it as a symphony of signals, each one like a stream, converging into a river, washing stress from your body and mind, slowing your heart rate and blood pressure, slowing your mind with calming neurotransmitters. The neurons in your brain have a fractal pattern. And as we zoom out and out, away from the forest, intricate coastlines are coming into view, which are fractals. Now it's nighttime. Picture the stars. It's a clear sky, innumerable points of light. You're looking at fractals. And zoom out and out, even further. The galaxies, of which this Milky Way is but one of hundreds of billions, even trillions, they are all fractals too.